Hey, why you and Keith don't be making music? Like, I be wanting y'all, like...
It ain't me and Keith, man. Like, Keith, that's my dog. Some of the people from my block, like, who got real names, they talk to Keith. So, like, it's nothing. Like, I was just finna bring Keith on tour.
Okay, see, I'm not... Because the internet been saying y'all been secretly beefing. I promise you. I'm not making this up. I swear.
I gotta start getting more into the internet. I promise you I don't be on there looking.
I swear. They said that you be dissing Keith.
Why?
Not taking care of the guys.
If Keith don't take care of his guys, Keith just don't take care of his guys. If Keith take care of his guys, Keith take care of his guys.
Have you mentioned him about taking care of his guys or not?
I never heard him not taking care of his guys. That kills that. How the they stick me to it? These people crazy.
No, you good.
Weeks before Lil Durk's federal trial was set to begin, prosecutors dropped a third superseding indictment that fundamentally changed the case against him. What started as a murder-for-hire charge has now expanded into a full racketeering case, with one of the most serious charges available under federal law attached to it. Here's everything that's actually happened, broken down clearly, with Durk's own defense response included. First, the important context. Lil Durk has pleaded not guilty to every charge against him. His attorneys have repeatedly and publicly stated that he did not finance, direct, or participate in any of the violence prosecutors are alleging. He remains in federal custody, and everything in this case is, at this stage, allegation rather than proven fact. With that established, here's how we got to where we are right now. Durk was originally arrested in October 2024 on a murder-for-hire theory. Prosecutors alleged the case centered on retaliation tied to the November 2020 killing of King Von, alleging that Durk placed bounties on people believed responsible for Von's death and financed efforts to track down and harm rivals across multiple states. The original case focused specifically on an August 2022 shooting at a Beverly Hills gas station. On June 3, 2026, a federal grand jury returned a third superseding indictment. This is the version of the case that applies right now. It added two significant charges that didn't exist in the earlier filings: murder in aid of racketeering, commonly known as a vicar charge, and conspiracy to commit stalking. According to the indictment, prosecutors allege Durk formed what they're calling the Banks Gang enterprise, operating alongside OTF, allegedly carrying out violent acts including murder to protect his position and retaliate against rivals. That vicar charge matters a lot, and here's why. Legal experts who've reviewed the filing point out that vicar charges are a powerful tool for federal prosecutors because they allow the government to argue that violent acts were committed to maintain status or standing within a larger organization, rather than treating each incident as an isolated event. To win on a racketeering theory, prosecutors generally need to establish that an actual criminal enterprise existed and connect specific violent conduct back to that organization's broader activities. The indictment alleges that members and associates communicated through calls, texts, social media, and even song lyrics, and that those communications allegedly reflected celebration of violent acts. Whether that evidence actually holds up and how much weight a jury gives it is something that's still going to be litigated and ultimately decided by the court. Durk's legal team did not hold back in their response. His attorneys, Drew Findling, Marissa Goldberg, Brian Steele, and Christy O'Connor, called the new indictment lipstick on a pig in a public statement, accusing prosecutors of recycling old allegations into a racketeering framework specifically because, in their view, the original case wasn't holding up well enough heading into trial. Their statement said federal prosecutors have spent nearly 2 years trying to defend what they called a very weak case. They maintain that Durk Banks is innocent, regardless of how many indictments prosecutors file. It's worth noting that Brian Steele, one of Durk's attorneys, previously represented Young Thug in the high-profile YSL racketeering trial in Georgia. His addition to the defense team has been read by some legal observers as a signal that Durk's side intends to contest these allegations aggressively rather than negotiate. Two evidentiary rulings in this case have drawn a lot of attention because of what they could mean for how the trial plays out. The first involves actual footage and testimony connected to the night King Von died. Prosecutors requested permission to present that material to the jury, arguing it establishes motive, specifically, that Von's death is what allegedly drove Durk to retaliate against people prosecutors believe were involved, including Quando Rondo. The judge overseeing the case approved that request, meaning jurors will be allowed to hear testimony and see surveillance material connected to Von's death as part of establishing the prosecution's theory of motive. The second ruling involves song lyrics, which is rare in federal criminal cases. Courts have generally been reluctant to allow an artist's lyrics to be used as evidence, but it does happen, and when it does, it tends to signal prosecutors believe they have a strong argument for relevance. In this case, the judge allowed certain lyrics tied to Durk's music to be introduced, which prosecutors argue connect directly to the alleged motive and conduct at issue in the case. The specific lines being used reference not letting things slide and getting things done, which prosecutors are arguing in court reflects the alleged retaliatory mindset described elsewhere in the indictment. The admissibility and ultimate weight of that evidence is still something the defense can challenge through the trial process. Separately from the racketeering case, Durk has also faced a murder-for-hire charge connected to the killing of Stefan Mack, who federal investigators have identified as a leader within a faction of the Gangster Disciples. Prosecutors allege Mack was targeted in retaliation for the earlier killing of Durk's brother D-Thang. According to court filings, that case developed in part because a man allegedly involved in carrying out the killing spoke to a cellmate who turned out to be a confidential informant working with investigators. Prosecutors allege in court documents that the bounty for that specific case started at $70,000 and was later raised to $90,000. None of these allegations have been proven in court, and Durk has not been convicted of anything related to this charge. Two of Durk's former associates, named in earlier versions of the case, appear to no longer be listed as co-defendants in the most recent indictment, which several legal observers have suggested points toward those individuals potentially cooperating with prosecutors as part of plea arrangements, though this hasn't been officially confirmed in detail for every individual involved. As far as where things stand right now, prosecutors have stated clearly in court filings that they remain prepared to proceed to trial on August 20th, 2026. Durk remains in custody, and his attempts to secure bond have been unsuccessful multiple times throughout the case. There have also been reports regarding his conditions in custody, including periods in more restrictive housing, though the specific reasoning behind those conditions has been disputed between his team and detention officials. So here's the actual state of this case, stripped down to what we know for certain and separated from all the speculation that's been flying around online. Lil Durk is currently facing an expanded federal indictment that now includes a racketeering murder charge, one of the most serious charges federal prosecutors can bring in a case like this. Prosecutors are alleging that the actions at the center of the case were connected to a broader criminal enterprise, which is why they've chosen to pursue the racketeering angle rather than treating the allegations as an isolated incident. Durk has pleaded not guilty to all charges and continues to deny wrongdoing. What's especially interesting is that his defense team is not acting like a group preparing to negotiate a quiet plea deal behind the scenes. Instead, they've been aggressively challenging the government's case in public court filings and hearings. Their position is that the expanded indictment is not proof that prosecutors have a stronger case. In fact, they've argued the exact opposite, suggesting that adding charges reflects an effort to bolster a case they believe has weaknesses. Whether that's a persuasive argument or simply a standard defense strategy is something that will ultimately be tested in court. The judge has also made a pair of significant rulings that could play a major role once the trial begins. Prosecutors have been given permission to introduce evidence related to King Von's death, a development that immediately caught the attention of both legal observers and hip-hop fans. The court has also allowed certain song lyrics to be presented as evidence. Those decisions could become major points of contention because the defense is expected to argue that artistic expression should not be treated as a literal confession or proof of criminal conduct. At the same time, federal prosecutors clearly believe these pieces of evidence help establish context, motive, relationships, or intent. A jury will eventually have to decide how much weight, if any, should be given to that material. As things currently stand, the trial is scheduled to begin in August, although anyone who follows major federal cases knows that schedules can change. Delays, motions, evidentiary disputes, and procedural battles frequently push trial dates back. For now, that's where things stand. An indictment, even a sweeping federal indictment carrying extremely serious allegations, is not the same thing as a conviction. The government still has the burden of proving its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Durk's legal team appears prepared to fight every aspect of the prosecution's narrative, and the coming months will determine whether federal prosecutors can convince a jury that their evidence supports the charges, or whether the defense's claim of a weak case gains traction once the facts are tested in open court. Drop a comment. Do you think the racketeering charges make the case against Durk stronger? Or do you agree with his defense team that this looks like prosecutors trying to shore up a case that wasn't working?